Bismillah, dear colleagues, the most important dates for the finance department are the fiscal year, counting period, and the closing of the year. First of all, we have to set the fiscal year. When we establish a new company, we should set the fiscal year. How we do this? We just make new, enter the date. If we make for 2021, we prepare for this. Most of the companies start by 1st of Jan. So this is like this. Okay, and here we specify the company. Okay, this is okay, done for the coming year. This is the fiscal year for this company. Why we have to make a fiscal year? Most important that to control the entries date, because sometimes by a mistake we make an entry out of this period. So the system in this case will not accept it. And also to prepare the year-end reports and the audit reports. Second point or second date, important date, is the accounting period. I mean by the accounting period the date to close, whether to be monthly or quarterly, to close the month, to prepare the reports. In my example, I make it a quarterly. First quarter is like this. We just start date and end date, they specify the company, and this is closed because now I'm working in the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter is open. Here it is. It's still open, not closed. Usually the deadline is 5 days after the end of the month or the quarter. And for example, if we are in the quarter 1, we closed it 7th of April. We just keep it open, and as 7th of April or 8th of April, we check this always to be closed, like here. And in the fourth quarter, we are gonna to close it after 1 month, because you know that the monthly or quarterly reports different from the year-end closing, because year-end closing you have prepared for the audit reports, and a lot of reports should be prepared depending on the year end. But the quarterly, this is an internal report for the management. So we mainly in this company close after 1 month. This means at 3rd of Jan we're gonna to close the period and make like this, just to make check for all of this. In this case, it will be also closed. No one can enter any entry. We can make a test like this. If we make a journal voucher, make new, cash, if we change this to be at a closed period, let us assume this was at end of September. This is a closed period. Okay, submit. He will reviews, and this is a closed period. But if we make it as of today, because this quarter is still opened, okay, he will accept it, no problem. So this is when it's closed for all the department, for all the employees. Okay, sometimes the management decides some accounts to be restricted only for specific employee to work on this. Let us have an example. For example, the partners account or the dividends account, not all the accountant can make an entry on this accounts, just a specified person such as the finance manager, only person he can manage and make an entry for the partners account or for the dividends account. Let us take an example how to make this. If, for example, here the dividends, it's only the finance manager can make an entry. So I come make an edit and make this account frozen. Frozen, it's only allowed to restricted users. So the first step, just to make the account is frozen. Yes, it's frozen. Yes, save. And then in the accounting setting, okay, here it is. The period, the account is frozen up to, and the person he is authorized to use it. Let us have an example. Okay, we're gonna to out of this to make another user. He is just an accountant and see if he can make an entry on dividend or not. Okay. Okay, this accountant, we're gonna to make an entry. Okay, dividend. Cash. Save. Submit. It's refused because he is not authorized to make. He is not a finance manager. But under any case, it should be in the open period. If it's in the closed period, by any means he will refuse to make this entry. But since this is in open period, this is the fourth quarter, so but he is only not authorized. Let us change it and make the person authorize it. If you go out again. Return back to the administrator, we're going to change the person from accountant to be a finance manager and see the result. So I'm going to make the person as a finance manager. Here it is. Okay, save. I will return it back to the user. Now this is the user or the finance manager. He will try to make an entry on a frozen account. You can make save. Okay, submit. Now he accepted to make this entry. Okay. Okay. So if we change this to be in a closed period, he will accept to make it or no. Of course, he will also refuse to submit it, not because not authorized, but because the quarter is closed. So this is second point. The third point, the closing year, how to close the year. Closing year through, let us go return back to the admin. Here it is, opening and closing, how to close the year. Period closing voucher, just again to close the year. Transaction date, okay, you specify the date you're gonna to close. Usually, if you're gonna to close 2020, you make the entry date. Posting date, the most important, the posting date, it will affect the entries. Okay, and we say this is to close this, and here closing account hit. The accounting consists of 5 accounts: capital, liabilities, assets, expenses, and revenue. So yearly there is 2 accounts only closed: expenses and revenue. Revenue minus expenses give me the profit or the loss of the year. The result of this, it's transferred to the balance sheet or added to the capital or owner's equity, to be under the owner's equity. Usually we close this in something called return earnings. And then just to close the year like this, we can look to the entry. We'll find the entry here. Revenue has been closed. Revenue usually is a credit, now it's debit, and expenses usually it is debit, now it's credit, and the difference between the revenue and the expenses becoming return earnings, and this is appear or presented in the owner's equity. Okay. The point that we have to know, this entry don't prevent to make any entry in this year, so still the year is opened. And in case you enter a new entry, you have to update your period closing voucher. And in case you would like to close the year and no more transaction to be done on this year, you have to go to the fiscal year, and make it disabled. In this case, no one make a new entries in this period. Make an example. Even this is an open period. So it's closed. This year you can make any entry in this. Hope everything is clear. Thank you very much for your time.